Hey there, it's Kalyn with a Paper Smooches card tutorial. Today I'm going to be using the Reflections stamp set from Paper Smooches as well as the coordinating die sets that go with these stamps. And I'm just going to be making a really colorful and kind of fun happy birthday card that really could be for anyone, like friend or mom or sister, or definitely it's more of a feminine card, so probably for a woman in your life. So I'm taking some Hero Art Shadow ink in soft green and stamping my first image in that. And then I'm going to be taking the smaller kind of leafy branch stamp in the set, which I really love and makes great wreaths as well. So I'm going to be taking that and some Hero Arts ink in Mint Julep and stamping that down. Next, I'm taking the kind of circle berry looking stamp in this set and going to be stamping that using some fresh peach ink from Hero Arts. This is just a really nice orangey pink color that can really just brighten up a card. So that's going to be sort of my focal point, and then I'm going to begin stamping some flowers and leaves around it. So I'm taking this flower image and using some Harvest Gold ink from Paper Tray ink and stamping that a couple of times around the focal berry. Now I'm going to be using the Reflections Graphics die set that coordinates with some of the leaves and flowers in this set, and I die cut the kind of two little leaf clusters, the bigger one and the smaller one, and then I'm just going to be using the coordinating stamps that go with each of those and stamping some color down on the die cuts. And I'm using some Orange Zest ink from Paper Tray ink to do that. Now just coming in with my little pick-me-up stick to grab my die cuts and kind of place them on the card and see where I like them, just get an idea of how the layout's going to come together. Then I decided that I wanted to add another kind of leafy branch image to the design, so I picked the stamp that I used earlier, but I chose to use the soft green ink on it instead of that Mint Julep ink, and I just kind of placed it at a different angle, and it just gave the overall design a little bit of direction, so it's going in kind of a nice diagonal shape. Then I'm going back to that die cut for the reflection graphics and using the flower image that I already stamped down in yellow and doing it on a die cut piece instead. Since it got mostly covered up by that orange leaf die that I put down, I just thought I would die cut this one, stamp it again, and that way it would stand out and be more of a focal point. And that's kind of the nice thing about having dies. You can stamp down something and you can always just cover it right up with a die cut and no one will ever know the difference. Now I'm coming in with the Reflections Flowers die set and die cutting a couple flowers from that set out and seeing which ones I think will work nicely on my layout. And I decided to go with the kind of daisy looking die cut image and the coordinating stamp that goes with it, and just using some pale tomato ink from Hero Arts and giving that a nice stamp down on that die cut and then placing it to see where it will fit in. Now I'm taking the Reflections Leaves dies and I'm going to cut out the smallest leaf from that set using another piece of white cardstock, and then going to stamp the coordinating stamp on it using some mint julep ink. So now I'm going to be choosing my sentiment, and I'm using the Happy Birthday stamp set. And I was debating on using the Birthday Wishes sentiment, but then decided just to go with the straight Happy Birthday. It was just a little bit bigger and bolder, and I think matched the overall design of the card best. So I'm just placing it, seeing exactly where I'm going to stamp it, and then inking it up with some pale tomato ink and stamping it down. Now going back into the reflection stamp sets and picking out the tiny little circle stamps and just adding some nice little accents around the card. I just thought it would give it some nice little details and add some movement. So just using that fresh peach ink and stamping these over the card. I also wanted to add in just some subtle little leaf outlines, so I picked up that stamp from the stamp set and just taking some of that soft green ink and putting these around some of the edges of the flowers. It's kind of hard to see on camera here, but it just adds a little more depth and just some other details. Now that everything is kind of arranged, I'm going to just add some Tombow Mono multi-glue to the die cut pieces that I'm going to adhere down straight to the card, and then I'm going to take my foam adhesive squares and put those on some of the die cuts that I want to pop up. Now I decided the card could use a little bit of dimension on the edges, so I'm just taking some fine linen ink from Paper Tray ink and my little sponge dauber tool and just putting a really subtle color on the edges. I just thought that this gave it a little bit more depth and just helped the design pop a little bit. I don't normally do this on pure white cardstock. I usually only do it on cream colored cardstock, but I just really like the way that it looked on this, and just a subtle little color I think added a lot. So that wraps up today's card. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to check out Paper Smooches to get the stamps and dies that I used, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see any future videos that I create. Thanks so much.